Get talking now. Last year, Nigeria's aviation sector grappled with a lot of challenges, ranging from hike in jet A fuel and airfare, yes, of course, and regulatory, institutional, and structural challenges. Others include challenges of poor infrastructure, poor access to financial incentives, inability to repatriate funds, as well as underfunding of Nigeria's aviation industry. Due to the challenges, some airlines, including domestic and international flights, were forced to limit their operations, across the country. Let's highlight some of these key issues and policies that impacted the aviation sector last year, and also, of course, make projections for 2023. My guest is very familiar with the aviation terrain. Yes, a player and operator. He's the chairman, United Nigerian Airlines, also a professor of business at the University of Abuja Business School. Professor OBIORA OKONKWO. Thank you so much, Prof. It's good to have you live in the studio.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I never imagined I will ever find myself in your studio.
But you're here today.
Yes.
Great.
Good to see you.
Yes, same here. Let's start our conversation very quickly this new year with an overview of what has happened. I highlighted some of them in my introduction. Yes, everyone knows about the Jet A1 thing, all of this development. But for you, what's an overview of some of those activities, the major ones for you in 2022?
Well, some of these things on their own merit are major, each and every one of them, because it was just about this time last year, we raised the alarm about the increasing wave of the aviation fuel. Then we were at 300 and something, and we were afraid it could get to 500. But before you know it, it was 500, 600, got over 900 and something, and then it was chasing 1,000 naira. Those were happening within a space of 1 year. That was major. And then about that time, we were dealing with foreign exchange of about $500, that's at the parallel market. And it was available even at the I&E window if you have enough naira to purchase that. But within a very short time, it went to 600, 700, 800, chasing 900 to 1,000. That was major, right? And then worst of all, it became unavailable. On the aviation fuel, we also saw some scarcity that even stayed going on up to now. So these things we felt were really crucial. They were a big shock to the aviation industry in Nigeria, and it only took the grace of God for us to continue to breathe. There's really no country in the world that would have survived such a combination. Yes, the world noticed increase in the aviation fuel, but it was not as astronomical in some countries as it was or it continues to be in Nigeria, because those countries, their unit of measure may be in foreign exchange. So it might just be a slight 5–10% due to the scarcity. But here you are facing the increase in the international market of oil. You are facing the depreciation of naira locally. So that combination was actually very, very toxic. And obviously the logistic challenges that were also noticed brought about scarcity. And then more importantly was the unpatriotic approach of the marketers, the vendors, and all who are involved in that cycle of importation, distribution up to the pump of the aircraft. We notice a whole lot of unpatriotic dealings. That was why we cried out for what we called racketeering, because even at the depreciation of naira and then the scarcity in the international market, it was not supposed to be as high as that. We are still convinced that you could still sell this product about 500. So even those scarcity. We're artificial to make the cost very, very high. We did not like that, and it really was a big deal and a big thing for us to deal with. However, that last year was not all bad, you know, because you saw that despite all those challenges, towards the end of the year,
yes,
there was increased number of fleets.
yes.
I know that these fleets probably would have come in before December, apart from the fact that December is a high season period, but they were delayed by non-availability of foreign exchange. So they came in when they came in. The sector is well capacitated now, wow, aircraft-wise. I can tell you that within the last 2-3 months, there was influx of about 10 to 15 A320 big body aircraft, you know, the big one, including the one coming in from United Nigeria Airlines.
Wow, great.
So yeah, so that is what is there. But you know, again, some of our colleagues, some of the operators had their challenges. Some of them had to take out time out to reorganize themselves. Yeah. Some of them had to get the hammer of the regulators. Yeah. Yeah. But you know, it is exciting and quite commending to say that operations have been very safe, and it will continue to be safe because there is very high quality of regulation, and the operators are full of compliance, you know, that is required for safety. So in all of this, there was no concern about safety. Yeah,
which is very important. But let's talk about the issue. You know, I'm interested in that issue. We are all interested in the issue of the national carrier.
Yes.
Which we think is the way to go for us as Nigerians.
Yes.
But I know there's a case in court. I don't know. But can we just, what's the update regarding, and how will this really affect indigenous players?
Well, it would have been great for any patriotic person who has a big pride in this country to see a national carrier, Nigerian airline or Air Nigeria, flying all over the world, yeah, who gladly would have been biggest patronizers of that. That's not the issue. But as the operators who know how the game is played in all parts of the world, who understand the implications of certain actions, we only felt that the whole thing about that was unpatriotic and then was not transparent. Unpatriotic to the extent that you are granted a company that is supposedly a commercial company with a foreign interest 15 years tax break. And then it's a private business, like it's been claimed, but the government is indemnifying all their debts and all their borrowing. Those things are in the papers. And then these people presented a business plan, strategy that is clear, written in black and white from documents available, that their market penetration approach is predatory pricing with intention to send packing all the local operators. It's there in black and white. So for us, it is only a three that we see somebody with a cut grass or dormer coming to exit down and remain there. So we felt that they don't mean well for the industry. And besides, the key beneficiary of all this is going to be one of your competitors from African country who has a mission to dominate the entire African market to themselves for the benefit of their own economy, because Ethiopian Airlines is biggest revenue source for the government of Ethiopia. So why should our own agency, why should our own government support such an evil strategical approach to dominating and killing our local aviation industry for their own benefit. More so when the operators of this industry in Nigeria had made it the fastest growing aviation sector in the whole world. We have the highest recovery period after the COVID all over the world. We're only second to Colombia with a small margin. There's no aviation industry that has recovered in any part of the world after COVID except us, without any support from the government. It's because of the tenacity, the commitment of the operators who are extremely patriotic. And all these shocks, obviously, would have brought about low passenger, increase in operational costs, which, if you have to apply directly, would have brought the tickets to be going about 200 and 250,000. But we knew already the impact that could bring to the national economy and already masses who have been suffering. So we've been absorbing a whole lot of that. Instead of commendation, then we're facing a threat of extinction. So the matter is in court, and our case is clear. The way this business is structured, it is not good, not for the operators, it's not for the government of Nigeria, and by extension, people of Nigeria. Because what it just simply means that these guys could come in, get government guarantee, borrow money, all right? And then if they can't pay, government indemnifies them, and then government will, they'll have the creditors will have a direct charge on one source of government income. We have grown this sector. This is one sector government, obviously, we appreciate this administration that has given us a tax-free on imported aircrafts and spare parts. Without that, this industry would have died because the tax expectation on all these things and the custom tariff is huge. That is amazing. So we have always been conscious of this and always done all we can to support this government with our operations. We've seen some of our members, APs in particular, offering a free airlift of Nigerians in danger in different parts of the world. So we've seen a whole lot of reciprocity. And APs today is the biggest private aviation company in the whole of Africa, with number of fleet that by the business plan of the so-called Air Nigeria, they can only achieve in 15 years. So we believe that the issue here is not about capacity, but supporting the locals to be able to increase their capacity, strengthen the operations to face challenges that are there out for us and not internal.
Thanks for that clarity. More clarity into that. I think I get that point. Now let's talk about the roadmap. You've talked about the aviation industry, and I see some like a tall order. We've seen the concessioning, we've seen airports being rehabilitated, runways being worked on, and all of that. But what's your assessment of that roadmap? Can we do better than what we have at the moment?
Oh yes, this industry is huge. The sector is still yet not untapped. In recent time, you had about 1 to 5 million passengers traveling. Today, these current operators had operated it up to 20 million passengers. That's how actually it has become the fastest growing aviation sector in the whole world. But knowing that we have a population over 200 million, I think that you still have to get up to 50% of this population able to fly. And don't also forget that we were able to do this within some economic difficulties, right? So obviously some people can attribute it to ever-increasing security challenges, traveling by road, and then also bad road network. That's fine, you can take it away from them, but it's also important to note that even in the Western world, where the roads are perfect, more or less, and then the security is available. They still have high population of people traveling. Greater percentage of that people also use air. So that's what we also think, that no matter what happens, if we get all the roads right and improve all the securities in our own environment, this industry still has high potentials of growth. That's as regards to the local travels. And that will even be better with improved and better economy. And then if you look at international leg, which we have not even tapped to as indigenous operators, this route, Nigerian route, remains the most lucrative route to so many carriers, whether it is British Airways, whether it's Emirates and all that. This remains the route for them to that they maximize and then optimize their yield. This route is very lucrative. Nigerian operators should be able to be supported, tap into that. That should be another source of foreign exchange for the government. That should be one way of preserving our foreign exchange earning, obviously, knowing the recent issues with the repatriation of funds.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that too.
Yeah, so
it's worrisome. Some airlines not coming in because of that.
Well, I don't know who is not coming in. I don't know who is not coming in, but those who are coming in, they're still here. It is just that within some short period, we have been going through some issues. They are not friendly enough to understand us and be patient for us to overcome.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just happening within last year, which people know the world economy. It has never been an issue before now. So these are things we're observing. They are not ready because they come with their portfolio and then just want to get the most they can get. I can tell you that, as little as we are, we have probably 10 times more employees than all the entire foreign companies operating in Nigeria, because they just have one person or two locally here, and then the rest they outsource. So they give little back to us. So that's why we should encourage ours to do that. And you see, this is a sector that there's everything government do to support it. It's a win-win for government, win-win for everybody, because every single ticket that is sold, government has its own percentage. And so many other multiple agencies of government have their own cut. And these things are charged directly. You have a special account with NCA where they draw this money, just on direct charge. So there's nothing government cannot get. And then the least operator in Nigeria generates multi-billion naira turnover. And out of it, there are taxes. And then there are a specific number of employees that you do for number of aircraft that you have. It generates huge multiple employment, direct and indirectly. So many other supporting ancillary services in aviation industry cannot really grow if there is no commercial airline. So this is a sector. And besides, travel by air is no more a luxury. It's no more the things for the elite. It should be something that is a necessity. It's an essential service. It has to be classified as so. And that is why when you are treating agricultural sector, you are treating this one. We think that the service we bring to the table is as valuable as what is coming from the agricultural service, because it is a catalyst for other economic growth. The biggest effect of COVID is when movement are restricted. Transportation, whether it's by road, by air, it's critical. So that is why the biggest drain to our economies today is fuel subsidy. Why is it being subsidized? Because it's also a means of transportation. So government are spending trillions of naira from their own calculation that subsidy, if they remove it, it will bring a big burden to the masses. It will affect cost of transportation of agricultural products and other things that will bring about skyrocketing price that will have negative impact on quality of life and social services. That's a transport sector, just like flying by air. And though we are not asking for subsidy, we're just asking for single-digit loan. Look at the loan rates today, like you have mentioned in your intro. I mean, from 25 to 30%. It's a service you can't get a loan and operate like that. And then because of the ups and downs the industry has experienced in the past, the banks also are very, very cautious about extending some financial services. All right? Their fingers have been beaten in the past, but I know today it's a different ballgame altogether. But whereby you have invested huge money in acquiring some equipment, the banks are not even accepting it as a collateral. They still want you to either deposit some cash or get other properties to support it. It's crazy, you know. It doesn't happen in any part of the world. So these are part of the challenges we are facing. And I think that we've been calling on the government to take this as a critical, essential sector for this economy. Declare it so and treat it as so. We are not asking for grants. We are not asking for free money. We are not asking for subsidy. We are asking for access to aviation fuel at a proper costing. NMPC, through its own subsidiary Duke Oil, imports about 80% of all the petroleum product into Nigeria. At the price which they offer it, before it now gets to the pump, the price is like, you know, greater percentage double. Why should there be this markup? The market markup in the industry is so small. You only rely on the turnover because it's huge, the volume is high. So, unlike other parts of the world, where the cost of input of aviation fuel is about 30%, in Nigeria it's sitting about 70%. Wow. And when it's getting there, it's affecting your operational.
What is the outlook? Let's wrap up on that note. With all these challenges, what is the outlook?
We're going into 2023. This government is rounding up. They have been, you know, the president has been quite sympathetic to the things of aviation and has granted the waiver, which is really a game changer for the industry, and we will remain ever grateful to that. But 2023, we're saying no to Air Nigeria. Our stand has not changed. The matter is in court. We won't say much about it. Actually came up today. Yes. Yeah, the matter actually came up today in court. But I think of all the applications that are in there, we haven't had anything contrary to our expectations. So we're expecting it to take a natural course. It's our right to ask the court to determine if our position makes sense or not. So I think we're expecting the right outcome. This government is winding up. Election comes up 25th of February. And obviously, immediately after that, this government will just continue the transition. We do not expect them to come with a major shocking policy. So what will happen this year in the aviation sector will depend on how peaceful the election ends, and then the policy thrust of which government that comes in. The different leading candidates are talking well, but they're not talking is cheap. Yeah. But we hope that each and every one of them that come will take aviation sector more seriously and create all necessary and enabling environment for it to survive, because it has proven to be a very good source of revenue earning for the government. In fact, before the COVID, it was the third largest contributor to our GDP. You can't beat that. It can't be that where government spend. And then this incoming government has huge loans to pay back. And one of them is those that the previous administration got from Chinese government for the airport infrastructures and all that. You have to pay them back. And you can only pay them back from revenue you generate from the airport operations. And for you to generate that revenue, the commercial operators have to be up and doing, and business must have to be good. If you close them all down, like is the plan of Ethiopian Air, then they can't do enough with only 10 aircrafts they would put up in 10 years to make enough returns and pay back government to pay those loans. These are part of the things we are raising attention of Nigerian public and government to. And we are grateful to the Minister of Aviation, who has been a good friend to the industry, who has been listening, being an aviator himself. You know, I'm not an aviator anyway, so I'm just an operator by chance. You know, so there are people who are great people in the industry. So we have enjoyed good working relationship with him, especially on certain approvals that could have taken you forever to get on import permit and all that. He does all those within few days. So we think that his being there has great impact in the industry. And we appeal to him is not to take personal our position on this Nigerian Air, because this is a decision that if he's taken, we'll even outlive him. So if he's good, if he's done and done well, it would have been a great legacy. But the way it's planned, we really probably has potential to rubbish his best intentions and all the good things he has done for the industry.
I must thank you so much, Prof. I know we can go on with this conversation, but this is so much time can take. I've been speaking to Chairman, United Nigerian Airlines. I see the spokesperson of the airline operators of Nigeria. Yes, that's true. That's also...
It's been a tough job during this time.
Not easy at all. This is not the best time to be the spokesman of the aviation professionals. A professor of business at University of Abuja Business School. Prof. OBIORA, thank you so much for starting the week with us on the show.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
All right.